Okay friends, so today I am going to discuss about an important theory in the regional development. This theory was proposed by a famous Scottish regional economist and his name is Gunnar Myrdal. So Gunnar Myrdal theory is often called as cumulative causation theory of regional development. Before starting these things, I want to make you understand that regional development, while we are discussing about this, some important factors are there. Always remember, while we are discussing about the region, we often see that the regional development or the infrastructure are not found everywhere in a same type, or like it is not similar, first of all. Secondly, it has been found the core area is more developed than the periphery one. So Gunnar Myrdal has actually given the idea why there is a disparity between the core and the periphery. Now you can ask me that what type of regional imbalance or what could be the scale to understand this particular thing. You can understand this theory in context of a small region or micro region and even the macro also. So this theory can explain the regional inequality in the development both in the small region or if you discuss these things in a broader aspects. Okay, so next part, that cumulative causation theory of Gunnar Myrdal, this theory was proposed in the year 1957. In his theory, he has mentioned about two important points, and this is very important. The first one is the spread effect, and the second one is the backwash effect, and third one is the cumulative causation model. So first I'll start with the discussion of the spread effect. So what is the spread effect? If I take an example of any region, suppose I am taking the region of Kolkata. Kolkata is a metropolitan region. If you take Kolkata metropolitan region, it has, in this region you have Kolkata city and also the part of North 24 Pargana, South 24 Pargana, and also Howrah and Hooghly. So I could say if Kolkata is in the middle, these are the periphery. Okay, and everywhere, like if you discuss about any city areas, if you go to any cities, it can be applied for any cities of India. There is a core area and there are the periphery region also. What I could say, the periphery could be the region of the peri-urban or the area of rural urban fringe. Okay, so often what we have seen here, that the core area is developed and the periphery or the region is not so much developed. Okay, so if I take the examples from this particular perspective, we can see that the regional disbalance is there. The level of development in the Kolkata region is not as we have seen in the periphery region. Like if I am where you are staying, like if you go to the Barashat or Howrah or Lilua on the other side, Barrackpur, the development is there, but it is not as the level of development is not similar as the Kolkata main city. Now if I discuss these things from a broader aspects or the discussion of India, like if I'm thinking about the metropolitan region of India, so there are few metropolitan region or the city region is there, like we have Kolkata region, we have Bangalore region, we have Chennai region, then we have Hyderabad. On the other side, for with the northern India, we have Delhi region, and then for the western side we have one is there in Surat and another one is in Mumbai. So these are the metropolitan region. So if you see the development level of this region and the hinterland means from where this region actually get the raw materials, because these regions are providing and mainly depend on the industries. These industries could be service sector or it could be a manufacturing sector, but whatever it is. But the thing is that it mainly gets the raw materials, or I could say the human resource, from the hinterland. And the hinterland part is also having some industries, like they also have some industries or industries which actually actually supply some raw materials to the core areas. But if you see the development level of this metropolitan city region, I'm talking about the nodal one, the nodal center, the level of development is not same in the periphery region, and also in like if you compare the periphery and the nodal region, it's not same. So, and if I discuss about the survival of this city region, it's not only about the city region, but the hinterland also consists of the rural areas. So if you take the examples from the macro and the micro level, what we have seen that there is a differences. There is a differences in the core region and the periphery region. Now, if you take the example for the world, like if I take the example of the whole world, you can see that there are some superpowers. We know about the superpowers, or I could say the super economy, or the most like powerful economy of the world. Like if I'm talking about there, China is there, USA is there, UK is there, and Canada is there, Russia is there. So there are few superpower is there. And but if you think, or if like even in northern Asian part we have Japan also. But if you see from where they get their raw materials, you have seen the developing countries are there. In the earlier days, when it was the time of the colonization, we have seen the countries who are the colonial rulers, they are the nodal part, they are the core area, and they are getting the raw materials from the colonized part or the developing countries. So till this day, this disparity is still there. Now the question has come, so is it only so what is about the spread effect and the backwash effect? So there are two-way process are there. Suppose the core area, when the core area is developed, so first I'm talking about the positive one. Development always if you discuss about if you see the history of the world, the development history of the world, you can see that development is always started from a particular point. Though there are few like there are so many criticism is there that the nodal point based development is not a good sign, but it is there. We can't deny the fact. And that's why the core area, mainly when it was developed, some positive impact is always there in the periphery region. What's the impact? Suppose this is my core area, and once this area is developed, it has new industries, it has more job opportunities. So what is happened? Suppose this is a core area, new industries are there. So what is it? It requires better people. It requires skilled labor. So the skilled labors will come from the periphery areas. Secondly, when these industries produce different new products or new things, this also is supplied in the periphery area. So you can understand that the periphery region is also getting some benefits, and obviously we see that with time, when the productivity is increased and when people are asking for more products, when people are asking for more skilled labor, they need a connectivity between these two. Because we have seen when a new city is developed, the periphery region is also getting the benefits. The infrastructure developed, the roads are developed, people are become the commuters to reach this particular place, and side by side new facilities, new products, new creations, new creativity, new designs, new the impact of the new economic is also going to the periphery region. So this is a spread effect. But what about the backwash effect? When people are getting periphery region, when it has become influenced by this particular region. Suppose there is an industrial region and it's a core area. So from the periphery area, people generally used to come to this place, and they are trying to settle down there because everybody wants to cut down their cost, and this is a very common thing. Then what happened? When they cut down the whole cost, and for that reason when they are settling there, then what happened? The periphery area have lost the labor force. They do not have the labor force, and when they do not have the labor force, and then when people used to come to this area, there is no reason for the development in the region. And when you do not have the labor force, one thing is very important, because for the better regional development, for making the industries, you need capital. and for the capital investment you need to assure the manpower is present there. So as the migration is there from periphery to the core region, there is less investment in the periphery region, and when you do not have the investment, then what happens? There is no industry. There is no, when we do not have the industry, then definitely there is no chances of the further investment. The only thing is that you become a commuters, you may have developed a commuter zone which is totally depend on that. There is no chances to develop a specific local economy, and we have seen it few days back when lockdown, like last year when the lockdown is there, we have seen suddenly the local economies also collapse down. The reason is that like I am living in a suburban place of metropolitan region of Kolkata, and I have seen that in my area suddenly there is no supply of the different products. The market totally collapsed, because the thing is that in my area people usually go there. They are the commuters. They used to collect the things, they used to collect the products from the city region, and they come here and they sell there. But we do not have the strong local economy, and this suddenly collapsed down. And this is a very common scenario in all the small cities in India during lockdown. So you can understand that how much dangerous it is. So the backwash effect somehow overreached the spade effect. Spade effect is there. Obviously, when a city is developed and you are living near to the area, definitely you get some benefits. But you need a strong local economy. Otherwise, when the city cannot provide you the products, you suddenly collapsed. And we have also seen the things in the broader perspective of the world, because when suddenly there is no supply of the products from USA and China during the lockdown, we have seen that Indian markets has started to collapse. We do not get so many products. We have a problem of shortage of the products in the market. So that reason it is very important for anyone, it is very important for the planners to make a plan where there should be a stable development. So these things has been explained in the Gunnar-Myrdal's theory. Third one is the cumulative causation model. So what is the cumulative causation model? In the cumulative causation model, he has actually said, already when I am discussing about the spread effect, I have said that the development is nothing but a chain. So how the chain goes on, you just think there is a place of A, this is a region, there you have industries. When you have industries, you need labor. So first you have the labor from the outer place. The labor is to come from the periphery area. Okay, when the laborers come here, what they need the basic infrastructure, because they want to stay here for the cutting of the cost, for the cutting of the regular cost. So when they started to leave to this particular place, they need roads. So the roads development is there. They need better communication. So the telecommunication system infrastructure is developed. And when you have seen that when someone, like I'm an investor and I want to invest in the place, so I have two parts. One is core and the periphery. And I have seen in the core area we have industries, we have telecommunication facilities, we have better roads and everything. So we have decided that okay, I'll invest here because here I have got everything. So when the new industries developed, again new job opportunities was created, and day by day people used to come from the periphery areas to this region. Again new people is there, new infrastructure is there, new service sector is there, new facilities are there, and more and more we have seen that this part is flourished. And the periphery region, they have lost the labor. They may have some facilities, they may be connected with the roads for making the better commuter zone, but the development level is not there. So this is a cumulative causation model, and these things are going, then you can understand that no investors interested to invest in this particular place. We have seen, if I'm discussing about context of India, the concept of the SEZ has come from somehow. SEZ is a solution to the problem. That's why government has planned some planned region or with of the SEZ. So SEZ has been if you see the area, it is mostly not in the city region. SEZ is always is developed in the periphery region, and where they are getting a particular place and they are giving so many benefits to the investors. So to come, and then when the investors come, new industries are developed, then suddenly side by side with the cumulative causation process, one by one the investors, new industries, then new facilities, new infrastructure, again new industries are developed, and suddenly they are trying to make a balance. So this is nothing but the cumulative causation model. So you can understand in modern economy this model is very much relevant, because if I discuss about the micro level to macro level, the regional development, this is very much relevant for all of us. Next the question is coming, so how we can how we can evaluate this model, or what are the positive and merits or demerits. Merits, obviously, this model is still is important because it's given emphasis on the stable regional development. It has given emphasis in the inequalities between the regional development of the core and periphery area. Third, this model is very much important, and actually it has given us the idea why we do not need any growth pool development region, because somehow it has created a disparity. But this model is not accepted for all the region, because the regional development, often we have seen that it is not always taken place in spite of making small economic zone, SEZ, small like special economic zone. We have seen that these disparities still remain. So it's not only the factors of the inflow of labor to the periphery to core region or migrations, but somehow the government policies, the facts, people, consumer behaviors, demands, this also some external economic factors are also there. So these things are not elaborately discussed in this region, and this model is quite it was developed almost in the 1957, so it's a long time back. So in the modern context, we can't see that always it's not about the problem of the core periphery things, but the planning strategy and the external economic factor is also played a very important role, and what kind of production is actually there in the core region and the periphery region. But this model is very much accepted because this model explains the problem of today's economy. Why, in spite of having so many metropolitan region in India, during lockdowns time we have seen the local economy actually collapsed, because we need a strong local economy. Even for the whole world, the developing countries should have their own economy, own production system. Otherwise, if the core area can't provide them the facilities, suddenly all the things will be collapsed. Okay, so with this note, I'll complete this lecture. Any queries? First of all, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. If you want some new materials, please inform me, and I hope that this will be helpful. Please write your comments. If you need some reference books, you can tell me. Thank you very much.